that's my last project that I recorded called Heritage,
Yeah.
and I try to show people how our African roots have traveled and influenced people around the world, and have touched people around the world, and what African have done long before people even thought, you know, and what also sometimes we actually ignore ourselves, African, how we influence the world.
With our music.
Yes.
I'm curious to know, how does it feel to win a Grammy?
It feels okay.
Ah.
It's not, no, essentially, my victory is, a Grammy is just a distinction, and I got nominated 3 times,
Yeah.
it's a distinction. I respect it, but I don't really take it as an achievement.
Really?
So you never achieve in music. I don't feel like you will achieve anything in music. Music is a school of life, and we should stay students of music the rest of our lives, because music is way bigger than. And here is one school that I often think the more I know, less I know in music.
Now that's a big, deep statement.
Yeah. So, and as a kid, I thought I was always a kid and I play music all the time, and then I realized the more I started to really know about music, and I became more humble about it.
What inspires your kind of music?
What inspired me? People and situations, and mostly traveling around the world. I travel a lot, and
How
that
many
inspired me a
countries?
lot. Man, I almost went everywhere. We went on the mob last time with my manager. I'm only missing 9 countries.
Wow.
9.
No kidding.
I went everywhere you can imagine.
Over how many years?
Over 30 years.
Okay.
Yeah, over 30 years, I almost went everywhere, and
No,
I
that's-
got those countries pinpoint those countries. I will go there one day.
Wow.
I will go there.
And you travel around to play or just for fun?
Fishing, no. To play. What else? That's the only thing I do. So
Okay.
play and mostly touch people's heart. That's
I
what we
see.
do. And I'm here in Ghana now. It's happening. I love what the Stanbic Jazz Festival is doing. It's a beautiful thing. But like I was telling him I think we could do more than that, and not just doing one event a year. I think in Africa we should initiate things where we get things happen in a short time period,
Okay.
not just once a year. A year that's 365 days, and excellence comes from repetition. You want to be good at doing something, do it all the time. All the great players, all the great in general, people that are so good that I know around me, that are friends, like Ronaldinho, they're good because they do that all the time. They do it all the time. So I think having like a place where people can actually play some live music like every weekend here will impact the younger generation. Just like it used to be. Ghana was hip during Kwame Nkrumah era. There were live music everywhere here.
Mm-hmm.
My
Ghana
own
is still
teacher,
very hip.
my own teacher was a Ghanaian. When I was a kid, check this story out.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I grew up in Douala in Cameroon, so always focusing playing music and stuff. Only play music, to the point where, parents in Africa, they were short-minded to the point that they want you to have a real job because music is like whatever it is. So this fisherman, I saw this old fisherman who used to, walk around the neighborhood selling fish to people. And he saw me very, very, very focused with the music. And he came to me and said, man, I want to teach you something. So I went to his house once. A fisherman pulled out a clarinet.
Oh.
A clarinet, not a guitar, not a thing. He pulled out a clarinet out of his little bag and stuff. He put the clarinet together and started to play high life.
Wow.
He was a Ghanaian
Oh.
fisherman,
What was his name?
Peter.
Okay.
And he left Ghana, back in the time, when he got kind of disappointed with how things were going, and he's like, I think something has changed, so I'm gonna just embrace the fishman life. And this guy, that's how I started to get involved with the high life music.
I see.
So don't mess around with me when it comes to high life, man. I will school you. You heard my song called Ghana Blues?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So
DJ Wubert will play that for us. What would be, if you had any advice to give to Ghanaian and African musicians about music and the industry, what would it be?
well, first of all, we need to take over ourselves, what we call the industry. You know. You see, we all have an iPhone, right? When Apple is done making this phone, they sell it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to remember this conversation.
Okay.
When Apple is done making this phone, they sell it themselves, right?
Yeah.
And when you look at any successful person or entity, when they're done making their product, they sell it themselves. Musicians are like African countries. When we're done producing, recording, mixing, getting musicians together, renting studios, mastering, all those things, we take the final product and give it to somebody to go sell it for us. Right there already, that's not right. Right there, the whole thing is not well organized. So it's been a few years. I've been doing this on my own where I'm independent. Not only I record my product, I sell them myself, and I distribute them myself.
Wow.
Even clubs, you know, I own a club in New York City now. I'm building another one in Paris.
I see.
And so what I have to tell young people is you have to take your own fate in your hand. Don't let it in anybody else's hand.
Okay.
And since I've been doing that, I never felt any richer. I made a fortune doing it on my own. It's not easy. People will always tell you, oh, it's impossible. Nah.
It's true.
Because they don't want you to do it.
Uh-huh.
That's what they're telling Africans. So when I walk in Japan and I saw another one, like I went in Belgium. I just did a concert in Belgium. And there were this thing where this Belgium chocolate is classified as, right now they receive this medal as a #1 in the world, as in front of Swiss and the French. And the chocolate comes from cocoa, right?
Yes.
They're #1, but they don't have a cocoa tree. Oh, Lord. So I tell all these African leaders who run cocoa, I say, wait a second here. The #1 in chocolate doesn't even have a cocoa tree in his country. What's wrong with that?
So I guess the advice is direct and straight. If
It's
you want
direct. We
to
run
be-
cocoa down here.
Yeah.
I'm not against Belgium being #1.
Yeah.
I love Belgium.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell them, listen, you wanna keep being #1, you're gonna develop that cocoa, whatever chocolate,
Here.
right here in Ghana and
Yeah.
Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
We're gonna learn to how to be #1 too.
Yes.
Through
So
your,
if
you
you
know,
want to be rich and have a lot of money,
be independent.
yes, take your fate and destiny
Yes.
to your own hands.
Be independent.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
And I can tell them I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm independent now and I'm rich like you won't even imagine.
Okay.